Hello and welcome to the video. These are real stories, so please be respectful. Story number 1.
In my old house, a ton of weird crap happened. One time when I was pretending to be sick so I could stay home from school, me and my mom were the only people in the house. My mother worked from home and had to talk to people who struggled with quitting smoking. Her room was kinda close to mine. I woke up at around 9 o'clock and had a feeling that I was being watched. I thought it was just my mom checking up on me, but after a few seconds I heard her talking in her room. I ripped the covers off my head, but to my surprise, there was no one there. I was certain that there was someone else in my room. As you might know if you heard about Ghost Story, I don't usually interfere with the paranormal, but I felt brave this time. So I just sat up in my bed until I felt like I wasn't being watched anymore. As soon as I got out of my bed and heard breathing, I thought it was just the sound my bed made from me getting up or my foot brushing over the floor. But the sound kept going, and I realized that there was no mistaking that sound. It was someone breathing. I felt calm when I thought of it just being my mom breathing loudly in the other room, but then I heard her talking again to her client on her computer. But the breathing overlapped with her talking, and it sounded very close. I spent the next 5 minutes looking around my room, but when I didn't find anything, I just sat back down on my bed, and it got louder. The sound was coming from under my bed. I slowly lifted up the mattress, and I heard the breathing slow down, as if it was trying to be more quiet. But there was no one. Nothing. There was absolutely nothing. Yet when I moved closer, I could still hear it louder than ever. There were no vents or anything that could be making that sound under my bed, so I decided to just ignore it, go downstairs and watch Scooby-Doo. I never told anyone. Not sure why, but I didn't. And I never heard it again.
Story number 2.
When I was about 15 years old, I was staying at my friend's place. We wanted to do a sleepover, but forgot the stuff I need for a sleepover at my house. We didn't think much of it, so we just got out to try to get it. Well, there was a weird guy in the middle of the road. He looked at us. We didn't think much of it, so we just tried to go further to get our stuff. But when we were close to him, he came at us and asked if we were okay. We found it weird, so we slowly backed off. He didn't like that. He stared at us angrily. Then, as we got on the corner, we began to run. It was the right choice. As we began to run, he was right behind us. We ran as fast as we could. Luckily, we were a bit faster. As we got around the corner, we hid. That was the right choice. He ran right beside us. We stayed in the hiding spot for a few minutes. After he was nowhere to be seen, we got out and quickly went to my house to get the stuff. When we got the stuff, we quickly went back to the house of my friend for the sleepover. We still don't know to this day what was happening or who we was. I don't know if we should have called the police or something, but I don't want to talk about it anymore. It was a hard experience.
Story number 3.
It was a desolated evening. In the heart of a quiet, eerie neighborhood, the wind whispers through the streets, carrying with a sense of foreboding. The moon shrouded in a thick blanket of clouds, casting eerie glow upon the dimly lit house. Little did I know that this fateful night would ever change the course of my existence. At the tender age of 8 or 9, I was an innocent young boy, oblivious to the terror that lurked into the shadows. My friend, who lived immersed and thrown away, shared my curiosity and lust for adventure. Our parents, trusting the safety of our friendly neighborhood, had no qualms about us returning home late. It was on a seemingly normal weekend that the tendrils of darkness began to curl around us. As we met at the familiar spot, an unexpected feeling of sickness washed over me, like a cold hand gasped my heart. The air grew thick with an unnatural tension, and I wonder if my friend felt the same inexplicable discomfort. We sought solace within the comforts of my house, seeking distraction through the innocence of childhood play. Lego pieces scattered across the floor as we engaged in our make-believe world. Yet, the alert of the unknown beckoned to us, drawn us out into the night. We ventured outside, leaving the safe haven of my home behind. Our footsteps echoed through the empty streets as we made our way to the playground, where an abandoned ice rink lay dormant. The flickering lamppost offered little solace in the encroaching darkness, and an unsettling silence settled over us. In the depths of our curiosity, I proposed that we explore the forsaken building, its ghostly silhouette casting an ominous shadow upon the ground. The morbid thrill in my friend's eyes mirrored my own, and he readily agreed. Little did we know that our decision would unleash a nightmare from which we could never escape. We scaled the rusty fence that guarded the ice rink, the metal groaning in a protest, as if warned us of the impending doom that awaited. Our hearts pounding in our chests, an orchestra of fear playing a haunting melody within us. As we stepped foot inside, A chilling gust of wind whispers through the broken windows, carrying with it the pungent stench of decay. We consciously explore the decrepit interior, by starting from one shadowy corner to another, the remains of past lives laying scattered around us, an eerie reminder of the souls that once inhabited this desolated place. As we settled upon a patch of dusty ground, a silence descended upon us, broken only by our trembling breaths. And then it happened. A loud sound shattered in the stillness, reverberating through the abandoned building. Our heads snapped in unison towards the source, our eyes widening with horror as a figure emerged from the darkness. The man, if you could even be called that, was a grotesque spectre of the night. His disheveled hair hung in maddened clumps, and the tattered remains of his clothing clung to his emaciated frame. But it was his eyes that struck terror into our souls. The man's gaze, obscured by ancient welding goggles, pierced through the darkness like twin beacons of malevolence. A guttural, otherworldly sound emanated from his cracked lips, sending shivers down our spines. It was a sound that would haunt our dreams, a sound that would etch itself into the deepest recesses of our minds. Pure instinct overtook us, propelling our trembling bodies into a frenzied flight for survival. We sprinted as if our lives depended on it, our frantic footsteps echoing through the halls. The spectre pursued us relentlessly, his baleful presence looming ever closer. Our hearts pounding in our chests, threatening to burst from the sheer terror that consumed us. Finally, salvation appeared in the form of the fence that we had crossed earlier. We hurtled over it with a surge of desperate strength, our bodies propelled by a primal fear that defied reason. Panting and gasping for breath, we collapsed onto the ground, our bodies trembling with aftershocks of terror. We never told anyone what happened at that night.